Bob Ramsey and my wife Jan, and we're owners and proprietors of House on the Hill Antiques in Romeo. We live in a suburb of Detroit, but Jan's folks had a farm in Romeo, which we acquired a number of years ago. And I said, if we buy the farm, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to farm again, and I farmed alfalfa, and we're going to open an antique store. And that's exactly what we did. I also belong to International Society of Appraisers, and that basically means that I have the legal wherewithal to testify in court, to do legal appraisals for lawyers, to settle disputes over personal property, not real estate, personal property, furniture, inheritance, collectibles, things like that. And I can tell you some really, really hair-raising stories of fathers and daughters and sons fighting each other over various items. And, you know, the court appoints me as the arbiter and say, settle it. And that's what we try to do in a nice way where everybody is satisfied. Bottom line, though, is because I have the credentials, what I say is ultimately what happens. Tonight we're going to do two things. We're going to do an interactive estate sale. And after that, I'm going to give you another handout. Remember, old teachers and handouts. And then after that, we'll do an appraisal of any items that you have. And we'll talk more about that when the time comes. Right now, let me direct you to the sheet you have in front of you. I apologize for how it looks. We went to use the computer tonight, and the computer didn't want to be used. So we had to improvise as best we could. Okay, you've got 24 items listed. And next to each item is a cost. If you were to buy that item, what it would cost you at this make-believe estate sale. I'm giving you, make-believe, $100 to spend. And you can spend it any way you want on any of the items on the list. You cannot exceed $100. You can certainly spend less, you can't spend more. So for instance, if you wanted item number 22, which is $5, you have $95 more to spend. If you bought this necklace for $75 and the postcards for $5, you spent $80, you have $20 to spend. Okay? At the end, we're going to go through and I'm going to tell you what you were looking at and what it's actually worth if you really went to an estate sale. Now, as I point in the introduction, some of the items are priced exactly as they should be, and that's called fair market value. Some of them are underpriced, some of them are overpriced. Your task as a very wise shopper is to take your $100 and maximize your expenditure. Spend it as best you can, and then at the end, just for the fun of it, let's see how much money you can make. Okay? Why don't you come up and look at the items? My wife and I will be here to answer any questions. I can't advise you to buy it or not buy it, but I want you to look at the things and then just sort of write down what you're going to spend your $100 on, okay? stood in line and bought Princess Diana Beanie Baby. You wasted your time and money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What about those Santa bears they have?
Anything that's mass produced. And if it's mass produced in a hurried way, it's just not going to have a durability. Supply and demand. Yes?
What about the Bradford Exchange?
Blah.
All the plates?
Blah. When I have an estate sale, we can't give the plates away.
I can't believe that. I mean, they're
A Bradford Exchange plate today, if I had them in an estate, we're lucky to get $3. How many would you like?
I have a lot of them.
What I'm telling you tonight, you cannot take to your insurance agent and say, this man at the lecture that I went to told me. Doesn't work that way. You have to have a written document. I mean, I could produce the written document, but it's a whole different situation. It's non-legally binding. So you cannot take it to the bank. It just doesn't work that way. If any of you have an item that you do not care to let everybody listen to what I have to say about it, see me afterwards and we'll talk privately. Otherwise, if you have an item, what I'll do is look at it, hold it up, and talk to all of you about it. If you object to that, afterwards we'll do it privately, time permitting. Okay? So non-legally binding, and it's an open forum session. Okay? Now again, I have the credentials to do this based on my experience, but we don't have the time to actually research it. So we'll do the best we can with the time constraints and go from there. Okay? Okay, who's first?